Hey everybody, we're going to take a look here at the instructions for week 3, assignment 2, revising for style. All right, so it says here that you'll need to review chapters 37, 29, and 5. You can if you want. And that you'll also want to take a look at the lessons on eliminating ineffective writing, modifiers, and sentence combining from here in the week 3 module, right? That's what we're working on in this assignment. This is a text submission. So if you've already completed week 3 assignment 1, you'll do the same thing here for this one, which is you're going to copy the assignment, the whole thing. Just keep going down and copying. This one's quite a bit. There we go. All right. Highlight it, right click, copy, go down to the text box, right click, paste, paste, right? And then you can work in the text box to answer each question. All right, so part 1 is on cliches, which we discussed in the eliminating ineffective writing lesson. We talked about cliches and clutter words. So what we have here is a paragraph that is full of cliches and quite a few clutter words. Your job is to identify as many as you can. I would say you need to be able to identify at least 10. There's upwards of 30, so there's a lot. So if you need a little refresher on what I mean by cliches and clutter words, go back to that lesson on eliminating ineffective writing, take a look at the handout, or watch the video again if you need to, but the handout might be enough of a refresher. And then come back and you're either going to underline or highlight all of the cliches and clutter words you find. Don't just go highlighting and underlining any little thing. For instance, I'll give you a hint here. Nashville, Tennessee is not a cliche or a clutter word. It is literally a city and state. That does not fall under the categories, right? Or during a recent trip. That's not a cliche or a clutter word either. 2 of my girlfriends and I. That's it. Be mindful of what cliches and clutter words actually are, and then try to identify as many as you can. And again, you should be able to get it at least 10. Okay. Next section is on modifiers. So remember in that lesson, we looked at misplaced modifiers and dangling modifiers. All right. So in this example, we have a misplaced modifier. They bought a puppy for my sister they called Fido. Well, this makes it sound like they called Fido refers to the sister, as in they called the sister Fido. But we know that's not what the sentence is actually trying to tell us. They call the dog Fido, so they bought a puppy they called Fido for my sister. So this was an example of a misplaced modifier. It's simply not in the correct spot. We just need to move it to the correct spot so that the sentence conveys correct information. We also talked about dangling modifiers, which is where the thing that's being modified isn't actually in the sentence. It got left out. So we got to add it back in. Example here, unsure of where to go, the map came in handy. Unsure of where to go, the map. So the map was unsure of where to go. That's not right. But we can't just move this around. We can't just put it in a different spot, because who was unsure of where to go? Well, we don't know because they aren't in the sentence. They got left out. So we need to add them in. Since we were unsure of where to go, the map came in handy. Or you could have said, unsure of where to go, we knew the map would come in handy. Something like that. But the person or people who were unsure of where to go were left out of the original sentence, and it's your job to add them back in an appropriate way. So you've got 8 of those, and some of them are misplaced modifiers, some of them are dangling modifiers. And I have put part of the sentences in bold to draw your attention to where the error is, to help you sort of figure it out a little easier. But you'll just type in the correct sentence underneath. Right? And then our last section is on sentence combining. So remember, we talked about how we want to take the main ideas of a group of sentences and combine those main ideas in a logical way to form one single grammatically correct sentence. All right, so our example here, Oscar the Grouch is a character on Sesame Street. He is green and grouchy. He lives in a trash can. So we don't need to say Oscar the Grouch is a character on Sesame Street, and he is green and grouchy, and he lives in a trash can. We don't want to combine these sentences, these full complete sentences, with commas and coordinating conjunctions. We want to simply take the main ideas from each sentence and combine them. So Oscar the Grouch is a green and grouchy character on Sesame Street who lives in a trash can. Right? We got all the same information. We didn't leave anything out. Oscar the Grouch, character on Sesame Street, green, grouchy, lives in a trash can. All of that information made it into this version. But we left off some of the pronouns and articles and prepositions and just grouped everything together in a logical way to create one single grammatically correct sentence. That is what you're going to do for these 3 sets of sentences. You're going to type your combined sentence underneath. And it says up here in the instructions, right? The goal is to combine each set into one sentence. And remember to make sure you do not create any run-ons or comma splices during the process. Also, you can only use a semicolon once. However, I will say this, you shouldn't need to use a semicolon. Because remember, a semicolon means you have 2 complete sentences on both sides. The whole idea here is to get all of this main idea into one single sentence, not 2 complete sentences that are correctly connected. You can do this. You can take the main ideas of all 3 sentences in number 1 and create one single grammatically correct sentence for number 2 and for number 3. However, since this is practice, you can use a semicolon once, but make sure you're using it correctly. Remember, complete sentence on both sides. Do not have any run-on sentences or comma splices in your answers. Okay? All right. Try to have this finished by Sunday. If you have questions about any of it, let me know. Otherwise, I'll be giving you feedback on it and going over what you still need to work on, and if I think you need some extra help, that sort of thing. Right? You get graded based on effort, but the harder you try on this, the more we're both going to be able to see how well you're understanding these grammar errors and how to fix them. All right, free to go ahead and get started on it.